Hey, this is Andrew, and I'm just going to give a very quick demo of the new JSON testing tool that I've been working on. So actually, I guess the first thing I'm going to do is delete the cache so that everything I do kind of is without the cache. And then you can use it just with the normal tool, normal script that we use to run all of our JSON tests and instrumenter. And here you can see it running. Um, One of the things that's a little bit different from the tool that we have at the moment is you can kind of see its progress to some degree. And so you can see each test running and how long it takes. And one of the things that's kind of interesting about it is you can see that certain tests are really slow, and it's actually not the ones that I thought that it was. Um, and you can see this is just a variation of this other really slow test. And most of the really slow tests are actually just kind of very small, subtle variations on the same theme. So hopefully, if we adopt this framework, we'll be able to normalize these tests a little bit and get rid of some of the duplication, and through that speed them up. But then with the caching that this new method has got, it will be less painful, I hope, because we'll be able to run the test a lot faster. But anyway. So this test suite takes about 2 minutes, which is about the same as it took before. So the testing tool itself doesn't actually speed anything up very much. Okay, so the rest of the tests, other than the configure stage, the rest of the tests are pretty fast. And so you can see the way it works is it kind of does the manifestation, which generates the object graph. And then the second stage is where it compares what was generated to what we expect to be there. And so that's done in a separate step. And so here you can see, each of those checks is done and completed and as we expect. And so that's your basic test case. Now, because I've run it, the second time I'm going to run it, it should be much faster. So let's take a look. And there, I mean, it ran really quickly. So I'm going to time that. Yeah, it's like less than 1/10 of a second. So I think that's okay. So now the next thing that I'm going to show is what happens if we have a failing test. So let's take this file over here. And whoops, actually, I'm going to just use VI because then I can keep it all in this one editor. So here's a test case. And you can see each test case is just a piece of JSON with a function. And then it's got the actual value, which is the thing that's under test, and then a file. And in this case, it's a JSON file. So we use expect JSON, and then we give the location of the file. So imagine we changed this actual value so that it had another field. It's going to call that another field, and we'll give that a value of 1, right? And so hopefully now when I run this test again, it's going to fail because the actual value that it got was different from what we expected. So let's just run the whole test suite again. And you can see it reran the test suite. And again, it was very quick, but it only reran the test cases that it needed to rerun in order to do this. So one of the other things that's worth pointing out is that it only shows the traces from JSonnet for the manifestation that failed. So when we normally run JSonnet, we get a lot of traces, and a lot of those are for tests that are passing. And one of the things that this test suite does is that it basically attaches each of the traces to the test that is running in, and then it'll only show you the traces for the file that failed, or for the test case that failed at least. So here, we can look here and we get a result here. It says test run completed, some tests failed, 7 files tested, 6 cached, one file failed. And here you can see exactly which file it is. So there were 5 tests completed with 1 failure. So if I just scroll up, these are the traces for that file. As I said, we only show the traces for the failing test case. And up here, we can see the reason that it failed was because the values don't match. And here we get a nice diff, color coded, and you can see that there was this field, another field that we didn't get in our test case. Um, and you can see the same result again, except now we're just running that test case, not the whole, not all the tests. So that speeds things up a little bit. Then over here, you can see adding the -- right fixtures will automatically update the fixtures based on the actual result. So let's give that a try. I'm going to copy that. I'm going to paste it into there. And it still fails. That's what it's designed to do. But if we do something like a git diff now, you can see that it's added that field in. Sorry, there's a few other changes in here, but you can see here that it's actually added that field into the test case. Now, in this case, it's pretty weird because we don't actually want that, but obviously in most cases, you just want to update the fixture with the new values that you need. So let's go ahead. So if I run it again now, because it's updated the fixture, I hope that it will pass. So let's take that again, run it. Perfect. Okay, so now I'm going to fix that test case. Oh, one other thing is, if I decide for some reason that the cache is broken or whatever, I can always just remove the caching by deleting this file called jsonnet-tool test cache. And then let's try to run that test again. And you can see 0 files cached. But everything's passing now. So now let's go and change the test case and get rid of that weird field. Right, okay. So now running it again, it's going to fail. I'm going to add the -- right fixtures on there. Bish, bash, bosh. Everything's working. Let's just run the whole test case again. And now remember, we deleted our cache, so this is going to take a while again. And there are a few other options, like if you want to show the traces for everything, there's an option to do that. And I'm sure over time we'll add extra features. One of the features that I'd like to add quite soon is just running individual tests, but I haven't added that yet, but it won't be too much work. I'd just like to get this done first before I do that. So let's just wait for this test case to complete. And then I think I've demonstrated most of the features of the tool. Well, I'm getting bored. So I think it's going to work. I hope this has been useful and I hope it's demonstrated some of the features of this testing harness. And I hope that you find it useful. Thanks for watching. Bye.